I decided to share a little story with whoever this video encounters, and it's really, the focus of this video is going to be one tip that I really think that every musician should know. And you know, a lot of people will probably be like, "Oh, I already knew this." Good for you. I did not know this, and there might be a lot of other people that didn't know this either. So, a little bit of backstory on this tip and why I'm sharing this video is, I have had a very unconventional music career and music journey. So, I actually had never really taken voice lessons before I started college. I started taking voice lessons after I'd already gotten into college. So I'd taken violin lessons, but it was really different. I'd taken violin lessons when I was a kid, like when I was like 9 to 12-ish. But really the only thing that I was told was to just practice every day, and she had kind of modeled good practicing to me in my lessons for instrumentalists anyway. The way that I approach it for vocals is different, and this was a whole journey. So when I got into college and I started vocal lessons, I just did what I had always been doing for different talent shows and school events, choir, things like that, which was, she gave me my music, I got my music, and I would just run through it. I'd run through it every single day. For like an hour, I would just keep running through it, and I didn't know how to play piano, so I was just listening to YouTube videos and singing along with the YouTube videos, which we'll come back to that. But I was doing this for weeks, and then it actually caused a lot of one-sided conflict for me with my vocal coach, because from my perspective as someone who had no idea what I was doing, I thought she should just know that I'd never taken voice lessons. Like, I thought she just knew that she could just tell. And so I really just had made up my mind that she was really strict, that she didn't like me, that, you know, she was really mean, and I started to really dislike my time in the music program before it had even really started. And so it had gotten to the point where I was so frustrated and discouraged and like just overall upset about what I was experiencing that I actually was planning on filling out an application to get a new vocal coach, because I thought that like it was just like I just thought that she hated me. So eventually it got to a point where like she was kind of getting on me, because she was like, you know, you need to be practicing. Are you not practicing? Are you doing this, that? I was kind of picking my brain about like what my practice looked like, and it like got to a point I was so sensitive. I'm still really sensitive, but I like started crying, and I was like, I don't know how to practice. I don't know. I've never taken a voice lesson before. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it was that, like me telling her that, she was like, oh. And we spent an entire lesson with her just teaching me how to practice, because apparently she had no idea. And you know, I try to take that as a compliment, but at the same time it's like, you know, don't assume that people know where you're at because without you telling them, because they really might not. And anyway, that's not the tip. So she taught me how to practice, and I'm going to share that because yeah, most people that have been in like doing music their whole life, youth orchestra, youth chorale, youth choir, you know, high school choir, whatever, maybe your teachers did teach you, but mine didn't. So I'm going to share that because it could really help somebody. You never know. And anyway, so one of the things that she taught me that really stuck with me was, when you get your music, for vocalists specifically, when you get your music, I mean, instrumentalists could do this too, but there will be a separate video on how different practice methods for instrumentalists that I just think work a little better for that side of things specifically. But for vocalists, you'll get your music. You want to spend like the first week or two, you're just learning the music. You're not ready to just start practicing the whole thing all the way through yet. So you'll get your music, and you're gonna want to spend 10 minutes on each page, like just learning the page, playing your part out. And for me, like part of my degree was learning piano, like at a basic level, so that's a whole other separate thing. But you want to play your part out on the piano and really just take time to learn it note for note, word for word, 10 minutes on each page. So really dedicate it to memory and just work really, really hard at this. And you're gonna want to do that one song every day, and like just rotate through your songs in your repertoire until you have learned the pieces. Once you've memorized the pieces and learned the pieces a little better, like to where that's memorized, that's when you're gonna progress to practicing each of your repertoire pieces every day, because then working on them, like doing it 10 minutes per page, you're gonna use up a lot of your hour. And honestly, people will probably argue with this, but I don't care because it's been scientifically proven. Practicing more than an hour is not beneficial for you whatsoever. It's all you're gonna do is potentially cause injury, open yourself up to being more susceptible to injury. You're gonna wear out your vocal cords. You're not learning anything after an hour. Neurologically, psychologically, you're not learning anything after an hour. It's a waste of time. So after an hour, just call it a day. You're just gonna cause yourself more heartache, more frustration, and you're risking pushing yourself too hard and injuring yourself. And I will share a story about one time that I did that because it's important, and a lot of people will try to argue with it. And I've injured myself twice doing this in college because I thought that, you know, everybody was just being too dramatic. They're not. Anyway, so once you've gotten to the point where you have the pieces memorized, like the words memorized and the melody pretty much memorized, that's when you're going to progress to running through your songs every day. And I say running through, but like practicing them intentionally. And I know that a lot of people don't like to hear this. You cannot just focus on the parts that are fun and easy for you and that bring you joy. Like if you're getting too frustrated, yeah, probably revisit those just to kind of lift your spirits up. But you really, really need to be spending the bulk of your practice time focusing on the excerpts that you're struggling with, that are hard for you, that you're missing consistently. And I know that sucks. I know it's frustrating, but that's how you're going to learn it, and that's how you're going to get yourself to the point where you are performing the piece to the best of your ability and with the most excellence that you can, which is the goal. Like if you're a musician and you want to do this professionally, you really, really need to be pushing yourself to do everything with the most amount of excellence that you can. And you're gonna have people that think you're not trying hard enough. You're gonna have people that are thinking you're not doing enough. And you're gonna have people where you're trying so hard that they have a problem with that too, and they think that you should not take yourself so seriously. What other people think doesn't matter. What matters is what you're doing in your practice time, and you're doing the best that you can do, and that you're at peace with that. And I've learned that the best way to be at peace with your decisions is knowing that you're doing your best and that you're doing everything that you can. So that would be the best advice I can give you. And that's pretty much it, honestly, like making sure you're hydrated. There's other things that go into it, but those will all be separate videos. But as far as like your practice time, that's really it for vocalists. Like make sure you're warmed up before, for sure, 100%. And if you don't know how to do that, I'll make a separate video on some vocal warm-ups that my teacher gave me that I used that really, really helped me. I still use them to this day. I've used them for years. I started college and I did 3 years, and I need to go back and finish, but like I used them for those 3 years. I've been out of school I think for 3 years, so I've been using them for 6 years and they've worked. Like, and I'll do a separate video on that if you guys want. But that's pretty much it. A lot of people overcomplicate their practice time. A lot of people make it more stressful than it is. And I understand that, like, as a musician, you're gonna have people that stress you out. You're gonna have situations that are stressful. You're gonna have high pressure gigs. A lot of things are gonna feel like it's the end of the world. But your practice time should not be 1 hour of you beating yourself up, and it should not be 1 hour of you being so frustrated at yourself that you're just angry all the time. Your practice session should be mentally an hour where you are just building your skills, you're learning, you're making mistakes and correcting those mistakes, your practice time, that's what it's for. It's for making mistakes and growing from those and building your skill set and just really trying to be the best that you can be. And that's what it is. It's not the time to trash talk yourself. You're not helping yourself at all doing that. You're actually hindering yourself, and anyway, I won't go on a whole rant about that. That can be a video for another time. If you guys need more motivational things, I can definitely do that. But that is how you practice for vocalists. That's what I've used. That's what I was taught. That is what works for me. I think it works really well for a lot of people. I don't think my college vocal coach would be telling me that if it didn't work really well for a lot of people. So hopefully this helps.